Well, so, once when I blow.
Notice legislators making room for the people.
All you gotta know is
Everybody in here and I want my face to see. Dang.
Yesterday, 7 legislators took a resolution to prepare us for peace and turned it into a piece of paper to fan the flames of war. I believe the action yesterday is a serious misuse of legislative power. If these individuals disagreed with the resolution, it was within their rights to vote against it. Indeed, they chose to fan the flames of conflict in the Middle East. Not only that, they have treated their fellow North Dakotans, who you see here today, with disrespect. Numerous faith leaders, veterans, parents, teachers, and community members testified in support of the resolution, Peace Resolution 4015. Literally, not one person testified in opposition. What am I to say to the 50 citizens who attended the hearings? How am I to explain behavior of my fellow legislators? It is one thing to vote against a resolution you disagree with. That's fine in our body. But to make it into its opposite is a serious misuse of legislative power.
As Senator Mathern said, what the committee amendment did is to take a resolution that called for peace and turn it into a rather belligerent declaration of continued war, and also set a goal of making the U.S. essentially an army of occupation, which will establish a government in Iraq and Afghanistan that is acceptable to the United States, whatever the people of those countries seem to want. We have one more option. Because the bill was amended, it will come to the House on the 6th order of business, where the entire House must approve the amendments. We can debate the amendments and force a roll call vote on those on the House floor, and that's what we'll try to do.
I'm also a Vietnam veteran, and I think the Veterans for Peace is a worthwhile organization, and there's a lot of veterans in this country that think that war is a bad thing. And I'll do whatever I can on the House side to try to get this resolution back in its original form.
I think what we've seen in my committee yesterday was exactly what the citizens of this state don't want us to be doing up here, and that's basically playing politics. I believe the resolution was finely crafted, a lot of thought from Senator Mathern and other people went into it, and to just turn it around and make it something it is not. The representative that did this had ample opportunity to bring forth his own resolution, and he did not do that. So instead, he basically what we call hog house Senator Mathern, and I hope we can turn this around. Thank you.
I'm a Vietnam veteran, and I wish a legislator would have brought this legislation during our time when I was in Vietnam. I want to thank Senator Mathern for the opportunity to bring this to the legislature, and I was proud to carry the continuing resolution in the Senate side. We're looking at bringing our troops back, and that's what it's all about, is peace. We have approximately 4,000 troops in Afghanistan and Iraq, and we need them home.
I am so disappointed with what has happened to this point. Are they really working for North Dakota? Are they really working for the United States of America? I was in the National Guard for 23 and a half years. Of that 23 and a half years, 16 of it was on active duty. And then when I look around and I see all the fighting that's going around in different countries, are we going to bring our people home, or are we just going to continue to finance our government based on the backs of our military people? I sure hope not. these men and ladies should be home, and they should be helping us back here to solve the problems that we are looking at today. And I hope this can be accomplished. This peace resolution has to go through.
I was personally inspired by the compassionate, earnest testimony of faith leaders, veterans, teachers, parents, and community members from many walks of life. Many of us are left wondering, where is our democracy? For reasons that are unclear to us, the House GVA Committee adopted amendments that literally remove the word peace from the peace resolution. The new wording suggests that our armed forces should maintain an indefinite presence in Iraq and Afghanistan. The amendments even introduce the word evil, suggesting that people of the Arab world are somehow separate from goodness. It is one thing to engage in the legislative process, knowing that a piece of legislation which we hold dear may be voted down. But it is quite another to watch our elected officials literally eviscerate that piece of legislation as if to eradicate our efforts altogether. It is my understanding that only 48% of eligible North Dakota voters voted in the most recent election. We would like to see our elected officials encouraging, rather than discouraging, full engagement in our democracy. Instead, it seems members of the House GVA Committee seek to dishonor their fellow North Dakotans for taking the time to get involved at all. Even so, we refuse to be disenfranchised, and we will not be discouraged in our pursuit of peace. Thank you.
I am questioning the use of their authority. And we have a time-honored tradition in the North Dakota legislature that we do what we can to repair legislation, to make it better. If we don't agree, we work to defeat that legislation. That is what has changed with the work of these legislators. Hoghouse is a term that we use to describe a bill's intent, which was a certain direction, which could be expressed in a better way in maybe even a different section of law. This is beyond that. This is taking a bill and turning it upside down so that its meaning is the opposite. We don't have a term for that.
To the best of my recollection, Representative Striley did not give a reason. He simply moved his amendment, and after some debate in which he did not participate, as I recall, the committee voted on it.
We have now been engaged in that war for 10 years. It is now the longest war in the history of America. And the peace resolution was really to address that situation and move us towards the preparations of peace. Thank you very much for your time.
My point was that I was pregnant with my first child when we first invaded Iraq. That was 20 years ago, and we were still basically in that conflict for 20 years. My daughter, who I was pregnant with then, now has friends and family members who served, who've been hurt, who've been killed. Never would I have thought it would have gone on this long, and it just seems enough is enough. These kids have grown up at war, and that's all they know.
You know, we did not elect these people to play games in the legislature. And, you know, we're paying their salaries to do what we want them to do, which is to represent us and protect this state. And I'm just thinking of the cost of continued war at a time when so many states are going broke. The federal government's broke. We need to do everything we can do to promote peace and bring our servicemen home, and women.
Oh, Terry, and I'll be emailing all those memos. Or I did it. Sometimes I send the press release before the press conference.